Hey guys, welcome back to the Capital Mindset Show. Today we're going to be looking back at a company, PayPal Corporation, and this company actually reported earnings last week. I'll show you a little bit about the stock price right now, just to show you it is up 9.25% here today. I think as a high, it reached about 13%. One thing to consider is what the heck happened, so I'll kind of summarize that. So we saw an interesting agreement with them and Elliott Management Group. You guys might remember Elliott Management Group from Intel. Take a look at Intel's 5-year chart. You might remember this time period for Intel. If you haven't seen the Intel video or the update on Intel, you guys can go check that out if you so wish. But yeah, Intel is a company we haven't been too positive on the channel for quite some time. And yeah, I think since December of 2021, we weren't pretty positive on Intel. But looking at PayPal, PayPal is a company that I wish I actually followed my last video's decision. So in that video, I contemplated whether or not I contemplated, I was pretty certain that I would, but no promises. So I ended up not buying PayPal. And in the short term, it appears as though that was a mistake because it was a company I actually wouldn't have mind owning. But it reached the price point that I actually did like. And so if you guys don't remember that video, that's completely fine. So I actually didn't put much effort into a thumbnail for this video, but it got a decent amount of views relative to the lack of thumbnails. And I have it pulled up here, but if you're so curious, like we're doing that Inception thing again. What is that thing? Small details you missed. Oh, okay. It's a Back to the Future. I've never, yeah. Anyways, taking a look at this video. This was published on July 6, 2022. So you have the date there. Again, it exists on the, not content library, but the Capital Mindset video library, you can see. And if you actually go back, I think around the 10-minute mark, I do talk about it here. Just kind of ease in over time. Ease in over time. If the market kind of provides to me that opportunity and nothing changes fundamentally, I would like to build it out into a position. So I'm not going to be, don't be surprised if it actually ends up in there, okay? It might. So I go into like it might end up being there, and you know it never ended up being in there. So we're just, yeah. But basically what I'm trying to say is I liked PayPal at that price, and the price was $74.40. And that was actually a decision that I made. Well, it was very similar to my global payment system. My global payments investment is doing pretty well as well. I don't think it would have been doing as good as PayPal would have been had I bought PayPal instead at that time. But that's neither here or there. So congratulations, because I do know some of you actually did buy PayPal and are doing pretty well in that position, because I think since that video, I'm not saying you bought because of the video, but I'm saying since that video was published, it's up about 32-ish%. So we did hit Coupang, so that's fine. But no, we shouldn't really care about that because that's short term. All right, so PayPal Holdings, very interesting business. We talked about this in the past regarding what it is that they do, how they're a gateway, and as you know, what some of the things that's important with PayPal is their branding, of course, the security. I personally don't use PayPal itself, but I use some of its other services like Venmo. Venmo, you know, I'd rather use Zelle for me because Zelle's, you know, free. I don't pay as a consumer, but I know that Venmo is convenient for some people, and I've received payments and sent payments on Venmo. It is easy and convenient, but it is a very competitive business. We have Cash App. We have, in some cases, other various apps that do commerce around the world. You know, in China, they have WeChat. In India, they have other variations. In Brazil, they have other variations. So every country is developing these payment systems. Now, PayPal has also introduced, and I think to a huge extent, annihilated a firm in this case, or has made it difficult for a firm to compete or a firm to differentiate itself. I think there's room enough for everyone as long as they have partners, but PayPal is now offering itself a buy now, pay later. And PayPal is, of course, entrenched in way more merchants than pretty much, well, Affirm or Afterpay. Afterpay was acquired by Square, if you don't remember that. But yeah, and Square, by the way, owns Cash App. So, you know, that's why that's important. So with PayPal, some other things that I want to focus on is the actual results. And that we can see here. So I haven't actually checked this out yet, but we're going to go through it. Remember, this is the investor presentation. This is their best foot forward. They're trying to basically fluff us up, make it look nice. And if we don't find anything in here that we like, we won't like anything pretty much. But so let's just go through some of it. So active accounts, of course, we want to see this growing. That's how many people are using it. It's up 6%. Revenue, so according to that, it is, let's say, a 3-year spot CAGR of 16%. And okay, so that's important because the growth outside of eBay after eBay is 14%. So year-over-year growth ex eBay. And then the reason why that's important, or why they show that, is they used to actually be part of eBay. So investors like to actually pay attention to, well, how have things been since eBay? That's what we want to actually, look and see, because before, and this actually turned out to be absolutely true, before, when they were part of eBay, a lot of investors who did invest in eBay were concerned or did not like that eBay had this crown jewel known as PayPal inside of it, and they wanted to spin it out. They got what they wanted, and it's been great ever since. So payment volume is one of the most, if not the most important metric for this company. It goes hand in hand with active accounts. So more active accounts typically means more payment volume, but more payment volume equals more fees that they can generate. Very similar to Visa and MasterCard, even though these companies are not the same. I don't like it when people compare them as competitors, because they're not. PayPal is different from Visa and MasterCard. They're very different. In fact, PayPal uses the Visa and MasterCard rails, one or the other. And so don't confuse that. But yes, total payment volume as a metric is going to be very important for all three companies, as well as other companies, but I'm just focusing on the three that I just mentioned. Okay, so free cash flow is growing. For this company, we do want to see that. We have actually been observing that relative to the GAAP net income, there has been a upside surprise, so to speak, and we do see a $1.3 billion, 22% increase at 19% of revenue. That's basically our cash flow margin. So that's pretty good there. Not pretty good. That's actually really good. There's a lot of companies that would wish they had a cash flow margin of that degree. Okay, and the growth, of course, is fantastic. Now, you might be thinking, right, and I've seen this online, that some people are saying, well, with inflation going on, that increases payment volumes. Well, I understand the sentiment. I want to caution that thought. It's not so simple, but I understand where people are going with that when I do see that online discussed in, various forums, etc., maybe articles in the comments section, or even comment sections of videos. So I just want to make sure that you also pay attention to the fact that, well, prices can go up, but how much is the consumer spending? At the end of the day, that's actually what matters for that. And so more consumer spending more money through their services. So I know that inflation, some people say that, but we'll put that to the side. Okay, so here they're going to say PayPal delivers results at a massive scale. What they're showing us here is the progression over time. Very beautiful to see this. 2015, I believe, was the spinoff, and that's where they were unlocked as a company, so to speak. Nice growth on active accounts. Remember, they have Venmo as well, so active accounts includes Venmo. Transactions, we do have 19.3 billion transactions, a massive, monstrous growth from 5.1. I think the world has moved into a more connective environment where people are paying with their phones, sending each other money, exchanging commerce online, and PayPal is basically that middleman or that gateway that allows for a secure transaction. All right, so we're just going to pass over this, but basically they've been great, all right, over the past 5 years. Okay, so this is the part where we want to see how or what demographics they're actually getting, because, for example, healthy economies, well, I actually want to point out a trend here. So leaning into engagement, room to grow in core economies. So PayPal consumer penetration across developed markets remains below 50%. What they're trying to say here is look at all the room we have to grow. 35% penetration in the United States. United States is one of the most valuable markets, and then Germany is very valuable. UK is very valuable. The rest of Europe is very valuable, and then they have the flags of Italy, France, and Spain. They have Canada. Canada is also very valuable. So what you notice here is the North American countries have been a bit slower to adopt these payment models. The other European countries that they show there, also the same thing, with Germany and the UK being very accepting, and Australia also right there as a third. But yeah, for the most part, what they're trying to say is, well, there's a lot of transitioning to happen in order to go to, just paying with your phone. Now, we know that Apple Pay has been moving in this direction as well, and I think Apple Pay is pretty secure. I had one weird issue with Apple Pay, but that's anecdotal, so you shouldn't use me as an example. Okay, so a total payment volume, again, kind of showing it in a chart, a visualization, quarter over quarter, all well and good. I think the rest of it's pretty much, let's look for anything that we can find interesting. But we see stock repurchases. This is actually going to grow as, of course, they announced a $15 billion stock buyback. So Yeah, and if we consider the size of the business at now after these gains at $103 billion, that's about 15% of the business in total, all else being equal, prices remaining the same. So if we actually go to some other things, let me just make sure I don't skip over anything that's, could be important for us to kind of draw a conclusion here, but it's all pretty positive, to be honest. Net revenue growth of 12%. So, I mean, it's not something that we weren't talking about before. That's the thing. So I'm just trying to find if there's anything different. Really, all that I see what's different is there's this announcement of this collaboration with Elliott Management and this buyback. And analysts are very positive about this. Now, of course, I'd be very cautious about this. I'm not entirely overly excited, you could say. Well, it could be also that I didn't buy it. But even if I bought it or if I owned it right now, it wouldn't be something I'm all too enthusiastic about. Maybe I was trying to build out the position even more. Who knows? I would prefer to actually be, squandered and overlooked for a longer period of time. Now, remember that there are a good amount of risks with PayPal, and I'll actually try to focus on that and try to highlight that, not just be positive on it. So we have encroaching competition from other payment platforms. It is a race to the bottom kind of system. Of course, you have a network effect going on there. The more people that are on the platform, the more convenient it is for me to go onto the platform in order to engage in commerce. A lot of merchants want to go on the platform because then, again, network effect, a lot of their customers may be desiring to pay them through Venmo. I go to food trucks all the time when they're in the neighborhood or when they're in the local towns. And, me and my wife, we walk around. All the merchants, they accept PayPal or Venmo in this case. You go to New York, same thing with a lot of the trucks around there. They accept Venmo. So it's a very easy system, and that they're doing their job as the enabler for commerce. And so if we go back to some of the evaluations, I'll say this straight up. I refer back to this video, and so nothing really has changed drastically. And let me show you the video. So it's this video I was showing you. Nothing has changed drastically where I say the evaluation analysis has, differed massively and I need to, run it through again. So I basically stick by that. And at the time, it was a good value, no doubt. It was a good value. Now we're getting less of a value, granted, but, terrible value, still no. Great value, still no. Will I be buying at these prices? No, probably not. Probably not now. So we can kick ourselves sometimes, and this is where I'll leave off. This will be my final message. We can kick ourselves off for the ones we didn't do all day, every day, but we shouldn't let it, paralyze ourselves and think, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? That's what you should ignore, okay? You should focus on what you're going to do next. And we've had plenty of winners. I'll actually talk about some of the winners maybe if I have time to film some more videos, but this is the end of this video. If you found value in this video, let me know down in the comment section below. Feel free to leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You can also hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when I upload a new video. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.